we move.
The Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, ARCON, aimed to promote strict adherence to regulatory standards in advertising, has bestowed the prestigious ASP Compliance Award on distinguished mega brands and agencies. At the Gala Night ceremony during the third day of the National Advertising Conference in Abuja, Dr. Olalekan Fadolapo, Director General of ARCON, disclosed that this second iteration of the award was specifically designed to uphold the pinnacle of ethical standards within the advertising industry.
Audit the award process after the committee submitted the report. So this is part of the integrity test. Organizations that were given nomination letters, some of them were disqualified because infractions were established against them.
On their part, the chairperson of the Advertising Standards Panel underscored the body's role in maintaining industry standards by vetting and approving marketing materials, guaranteeing ethical compliance within the Nigerian media landscape.
Now, what we as the Advertising Standards Panel do is to vet and approve all advertisements, advertising and marketing communications materials to be exposed in Nigeria. Our job is simple. We have what we call our Bible, the Code of Advertising, and I'm sure we're all familiar with this code. What we do is ensure that all the materials that are passed to us for vetting and approval comply with the Code of Advertising practice. Over the years, we've identified that some of our advertisers, some of our agencies who bring in materials for vetting and approval have done very, very well in terms of complying with the Code of Advertising. These are people or materials that come to us, and we find out that time after time after time, they don't just bring in the materials for vetting and approval, but they also comply with the code. We do see quite a number of these applications coming in that fall foul of the code, violations. But quite a number of those that we'll be seeing today have consistently, I might repeat, complied with the Code of Advertising.
Brands and agencies that backed this prestigious award include MTN, Seaway, Extreme Ideas, Airtel, Noah's Ark, Global Print and Adverts, Insight Publicis, Nigerian Breweries, SBI Media Limited, Access Bank, Pulsate Empire, Airpeace, among others. This esteemed recognition aimed to promote adherence to guidelines established by the Advertising Standards Panel, emphasizing the vetting and pre-exposure submission of advertising campaigns. The conclusion of the AXP Compliance Award marked the culmination of the 3-day National Advertising Conference, characterized by a series of exceptional and insightful conversations. Throughout the conference, industry professionals engaged in meaningful discussions, sharing valuable insights and perspectives on various aspects of advertising, regulatory compliance, and marketing practices. The award ceremony served as the finale to this eventful gathering, recognizing exemplary compliance within the advertising sector, while symbolizing the conclusion of an enriching exchange of ideas and experiences among participants.
What we looked at yesterday was the contribution of the integrated marketing communications industry to GDP, so which is in terms of the quantum, the value that is contributed from a commercial value, economic value to GDP. That was examined yesterday based on a committee that was set up to look at that, and then working with the consulting company PwC. But the second part of that was that beyond the contribution to GDP, I think the bigger issue is the multiplier factor.
My assessment of the conference so far is that it's been a wonderful outing, put together by individuals that know what the problems are, put together by practitioners, professionals, leading professionals in the various sectors. And so the various items, the far side discussions, the presentations yesterday and the breakout sessions today have been wonderful. I participated in one of the breakout sessions, talking about out of home, talking about client servicing and all of that. And I can say that they are addressing the issues of our industry.
I'd like to see a lot more commitment on the part of practitioners to make an impact in the larger economy. We really cannot light our lamp and have it covered under a bushel. Let's apply some of our own medicine to ourselves. As I said yesterday, we've been rather insular. We are not having the right conversations at the right levels of government, and and even with the legislature. Some people worked very hard years ago to bring ARCON to life. I think it's also the responsibility of the next generation to see how we can make ARCON work for effectively for us. And one of those ways of doing that is to ensure that we form effective partnerships, whether with the executive in government, whether with the legislature, to ensure that even when laws have been passed, those laws are effectively enforced to make things work for the industry. Very importantly, also the fact that anywhere in the world, government is the biggest spender on advertising, and we can't ignore that in this country. And so therefore the industry must work together to see how much of the government's advertising spend that can be run through our members.
Of course, the issue of regulation has become critical in the past couple of years, and it's imperative. I mean, for us as even AAN, we have very little choice in this matter, because as an organization we are regulated by Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, ARCON. ARCON is to us what CBN is to the banks. The CBN cannot say, oh, we are reducing interest rate and we're reducing interest rate by 0.5%, and any bank stands up to the CBN to say you cannot do that. I mean, we can't stand up to ARCON and say, so we don't control ARCON. ARCON controls the industry. They give out the guidelines and all of the rules of engagement on how this business will be done, and they are trying to just sanitize the industry. So they give the law. We try and dialogue with them if it's necessary. If not, if it's acceptable to all our people, and they normally will consult widely before they even come out with these laws anyway. So we just try to make sure that we align with ARCON and make sure that we make their job of regulating the industry as pain-free as possible. We've created another task force group to make sure that we enforce those laws, because I mean, at AAN, we have task force that will just make sure that the law is complied with, and if we find any of our members erring, there's a disciplinary committee that will look into those cases, and if they find them guilty, then
commend the organizers for this effort. So it's a very good one, and I mean everybody, professional body should have a way of coming together.
It's an improvement of what happened last year, and I also the ambience is also worthwhile. Participation and participants are also key. The paper presentations, they are also awesome. I think that based especially the tracks that deals with industry multiplier and rebranding Nigeria, these are very key. They are jamming, because this is what we need to rebuild our country.
I think one thing that stood out for me this year was seeing that actions were taken, on the heels of what was discussed at the last National Advertisers Conference. It's quite encouraging to see that we're moving from just talk to actions, on salient issues that affect the industry. A second thing that really stood out for me was the intergenerational cooperation or collaboration. I saw a lot of young people on the panel discussions, and that for me shows that we're ready as an industry to move forward.